Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the Lord of the Rings: The Card Game Progression Series. My name is Mitch.
And my name is Matthew.
And today we're going to be playing the first print-on-demand promotional scenario. This is the Massing at Osgiliath. It made its debut at Gen Con Indy 2011. And Matthew, we recently concluded the Shadows of Mirkwood cycle, so where does our story bring us today?
Scouts at the ruins of Osgiliath have made a terrifying discovery. Sauron has secretly maneuvered a large army onto Gondor's doorstep and now threatens to overthrow it. Minas Tirith may fall unless a few brave heroes can cross the Anduin and carry warnings.
Sounds pretty straightforward to me. This was originally considered a brutally difficult scenario. We're going to be fighting the vanguard of Sauron's forces here. As you can clearly see, our staging area starts off with a ton of enemies in play. It's going to be imperative that Matthew and I get as many allies out as possible, get as much action advantage as we can. But, as per usual, let's start off by taking a look at our decks. I'm going to be running something that's primarily leadership. I've got Aragorn and Prince Imrahil again, just so I can get as many actions out of as few characters as I possibly can. The name of the game today is going to be a lot of undefended attacks to help clear out the staging area, and for that reason I've got Frodo Baggins as well, just because his response is some nice disaster insurance. We don't have the worst shadow effects in the world today, but I'm definitely going to be running Spirit to cancel some incredibly nasty treacheries, and both Matthew and myself are going to be using Hasty Stroke, just again to make sure that we don't suffer any kind of massive catastrophe. As you can see, I put these decks together a little while ago, but more so than any previous scenario, I've put a ton of effort into preparing for today. Something that's going to be holding Matthew and I back is we don't have access to a lot of cheap allies, but it's going to be just of paramount importance that we get an ally out on the first turn to deal with those wolves from Mordor, because they're going to be splashing back into the encounter deck when they destroy an ally. So, cheap allies, lots of actions, lots of willpower on my end, resource acceleration, some attack bolstering, and then a couple of cards like For Gondor and Rearguard to help us finish strong, because as you're about to see, Matthew and I definitely have our work cut out for us. But Matthew, enough of my blathering, and what are you playing?
I have a Tri-Sphere deck, Gimli, Eowyn, and Barivor, and largely my strategy is the same as yours. It's try to get some cheap allies out early to deal with these, tremendous number of enemies in the staging area, but also get Gimli beefed up pretty high to potentially deal with the Witch King and whatever else the encounter deck may throw our way.
Yeah, so I suppose theoretically these decks will do just fine, but one of the hallmarks of Massing at Osgiliath here is I think our success is going to hinge upon the board state that we're left with by the end of the first round here. So we've talked about our decks. Why don't we go ahead and run through scenario setup? I suppose, Matthew, let's draw our opening hands, and then we'll kind of assemble our staging area here. So we're going to go ahead and draw many cards, draw 6 cards, and what Matthew and I are hoping to get is a kind of an ally that we can put out on the first turn. I have Steward of Gondor, but unfortunately I don't have a 1-cost ally.
If you are able to play Steward of Gondor on my side, I could play 2 allies, one of which would be able to help you.
That sounds perfect to me. So an early game Steward I'm very fine with. Looks like you've got everybody's favorite Istari, and the sooner we can get Citadel Plate onto Gimli, the better. So why don't I just keep my opening hand, and I guess I'll call it good. I do have some shadow cancellation, so I suppose, Matthew, you seem pretty trustworthy. I'll go with your advice here. Just a note for our dear viewers, I've got something written on my hand to prompt Matthew and I to mind all of our P's and Q's and our triggers and whatnot this scenario. But anyway, Matthew, shall we explain what we're in for today?
Let's do it.
All right, so quest card 1A, Beyond Expectations. There are reports of increased orc activity around Ithilien, and you have been sent to investigate. You enter Osgiliath and cross the river. On the outskirts of the city, you see a horde that surpasses all expectations coming down the Morgul Road. Bear in mind, when this quest first came out, the only APs available were Conflict at the Carrack and the Hunt for Gollum, so this was definitely above and beyond what everyone was expecting in regard to this ridiculous staging area here. Setup is search the encounter deck for 12 scout trait cards and add 3 per player to the staging area. There are 3 different scout enemies, and basically you take the number of players. For each player you include 1 of each. You remove the Witch King from the encounter deck, you set him aside out of play, and then you shuffle those unused scout cards back into the encounter deck. So we're going to go ahead and add these scouts to the encounter deck. They're going to actually be some of the lowest threat value cards in that deck. I've gone ahead and shuffled it. I've set the Witch King out of play, and this is a absolutely ridiculous enemy. It's not going to actually come and engage with us until quest phase 4, but 40 engagement, 666 for the starting stats, my favorite number, 11 HP, and it's our second Nazgul. It decreases willpower. It's just horrific. Threat mitigation is going to be another task Matthew and I are charged with here, and the Witch King definitely works against us in that respect. Each of these scouts, Matthew and I have a bit of a strategy for dealing with. We've got the Snaga scouts. They're very weak, but at the beginning of the encounter phase, they all engage the player with the lowest threat. Matthew and I are tied for 30, so they're going to be engaging whichever one player we choose. It's going to be me in this case. One sec, sorry, I've got to close a pop-up. Damn, I had a good little train of thought going. Okay, so anyway, do you remember what I was saying?
You were saying that the enemies are going to, whichever one you were talking about is going to engage you.
Okay, right. Okay. Anyway, I'll just say... Well, now that my concentration has been totally broken thanks to that little pop-up appearing, I'll just finish by saying the Snaga Scouts really aren't too dangerous. My strategy for dealing with them is going to be undefended attacks, since I'll be the player engaging with those, and really the worst thing that can happen in this encounter deck is +1 attack strength or +2 attack strength if the attacker has the Scout trait and the attack is undefended. So Imrahil, Aragorn, they both have huge HP pools, and Frodo, of course, is there to protect against disaster. So Snaga Scouts, not that big of a deal. What is a big deal are the Wolves from Mordor. They attack for 4, and after they attack and destroy a character, you shuffle them back into the encounter deck. That's nice because they essentially KO themselves, but that shadow effect, given that they are likely to interplay and then recycle themselves into the encounter deck multiple times, is pretty nasty. Like, deal 2 damage to the defending character. If the defending character is Frodo, you have to use his ability to survive the shadow effect, and then he's killed by a wolves attacking. So kind of a nasty 1-2 punch there. And then last but not least, engagement cost 35. Hopefully Matthew and I won't have to deal with these for at least a little while. The Wainwriters here contribute a fair bit of threat to the staging area. They're a great target for an early game Gandalf, but every damage they deal beyond a defending character's defense strength, you have to increase your threat. And hitting 50 is probably more likely in this scenario than most others. But that's what we begin the game against. Hopefully we're not going to reveal too many additional enemies from the encounter deck. And now that we've cleared quest phase 1A, let's go to 1B. 7 quest points. As the van of the army enters the city, some of the horde's outriders are aware of your presence and head in your direction. Drawing back, you make a hasty retreat towards the river. So players cannot travel to West Bank locations. This is the note that I've jotted down for myself. Hopefully Matthew and I will be able to read the cards and make it through today's scenario. But with all that said, Matthew, Why don't we go ahead and do our first round here?
All right. I think reading the cards is a tall order, but I will do my best.
Oh, man, I'm going to try. Didn't go so well the first time. But anyways, resources and draw one card. I got one of my
Hey.
in-game cards.
Cool.
Looks like you got something that I'm delighted to see. I suppose for my opening turn here, I suppose I'm kind of forced to do steward. Well, okay. So how do you think that we should do this? I can either, like, I've only got 2 leadership resources. I can play Steward of Gondor for you. Well, I guess, okay, you've only got the 1 tactics resource, so
Right.
yeah.
I need 3.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking you could maybe feint and do the vassal, but I think my hand is kind of forced. I'm probably just not going to be able to send Aragorn to the quest for this first round.
Okay.
All right, so I will do 2 leadership resources. I will do Steward of Gondor. If you'd like to take control of that, I think Gimli is probably the best target. I've got my 1 spirit resource. The Rittermark's Finest here is nice because there are a lot of 2 quest point locations in this scenario that can have 4 threat, but Spirit's going to be necessary to maybe cancel some stuff, and I guess maybe we'll have to hold off on Baravor's card draw, but I think I'm good. Stand and Fight here in my hand. We're up against a treachery card that causes us to discard all allies from hand, and that's why I'm including that one. But what are you doing here, Matthew?
I will use my new 3 tactics resources to pay for Vassal and Gondorian Spearman.
Great. So Sentinel Defender for yours truly.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's good.
Yep.
Okay, so we've each got an Ancient Matham, you've got Baravor, we've each got Rittermark's Finest, but like I said, dear viewers, whether or not we win or lose depends a lot on how this first quest phase goes. So, I'm going to anticipate taking all of these Snaga Scouts. Matthew and I are each going to optionally engage with a Wolves from Mordor. Hopefully our threat will not hit 35 so that we don't have to deal with these Wainwriters. The average amount of threat coming off the top of the encounter deck for the first round is going to be 3.65. We are currently up against 8, so let's assume that we're going to be against 12. I will probably send like 4 to the quest.
Okay. I'll send 6.
Okay, so that would put us at 10. If you hold Gimli back, he would be able to potentially deal with like a, I guess if some additional like Wolves from Mordor or something comes off the encounter deck.
Yeah, I was sort of worried about something else coming off.
Sure. Let's see. I guess the way that we can do this is at the beginning of the encounter phase, the Snaga Scouts engage with me. You could optionally engage some nasty thing that comes off the top if you need to. And then Wolves could engage with me necessarily, doing engagement checks, and then another Wolves engages with you. I was hoping I didn't make a mistake after all my planning being the first player, but I think we're good.
Okay.
And you can keep Gimli back. So let's see what happens. Moment of truth. Encounter card number 1 is a captured watchtower. This is great. If the players have crossed the Anduin, the captured watchtower gets +3 threat. At the moment, it's no more than a mere 1 threat, 2 quest point location. One of the interesting things about this scenario is at one point, since we're kind of fleeing this Sauronian vanguard here, we have to cross a river, and that has a lot to do with whether or not we can travel to West Bank locations or East Bank locations. Note, captured watchtower is a West Bank location, and according to my hand, we cannot travel to it. So card successfully read. Encounter card number 2 is going to be a copy of Snaga Scouts. Man, so not too bad to start. Threat is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Threat, I've sent 4. What did you send, Matthew?
I sent 6.
Cool. So, elementary mathematics indicates that 10 equals 10. I'm okay with making no progress.
Okay.
Of course, we could discard cards to Eowyn, but we don't want to push through this first quest phase too quickly, considering quest phase 2 is a pain in that it prevents us from playing lots of cards. So, pretty heartening start. Travel phase, we cannot travel to the captured watchtower,
Yep.
and I'm okay with that. Let's see here. I suppose that brings us to the encounter phase. All copies of Snaga Scouts have to engage the player with the lowest threat. That is deliberately going to be me, even though we've got one extra copy to deal with. So far as the wolves go, we can optionally engage one each, or, I mean, no matter what, we could just do engagement checks and one of them goes to each of us. I suppose you could take... No, there's no way for you to take both, and there's no point. So, ignore what I'm saying here. So, lots of...
I usually do.
Very, very wise, you've learned after the years.
I know.
But anyway, with all these enemies engaged with me, that is going to bring us to combat. So starting with the first player, shadow card to the wolves, shadow cards to all these little guys, and then a shadow card to you. I believe I did that correctly. And now for dealing with these attacks, let's do the big one first.
Okay.
So... your Gondorian spearman, I suppose?
Well, I guess if I'm feeling generous, but that was the plan.
Well, I certainly do appreciate it. That's going to be 1 point of damage dealt to the wolves. Unfortunately, that is not going to be enough. The shadow effect is, if the players have not yet crossed the Anduin return... Oh yeah, more Goldwyn becomes the active location? I don't think so. Yeah. When a character commits to a quest, deal 1 damage to it. That is unacceptable. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. You don't have the option. But fortunately, I do. Hasty Stroke.
Phew. Very nice.
Gone. Canceled. Gondorian Spearman is killed, and this forced effect is going to trigger Shuffle Wolves from Mordor into the encounter deck. So the wolves are in the encounter deck. I will shuffle that. Their shadow card gets discarded. Imrahil readies because a character has left play. Limit once per round. My next attack, I am going to do Undefended for a Snaga Scout. Remove all defending characters from combat. This is considered undefended. That doesn't matter. I'm going to put 1 point of damage on Frodo because they're... the only direct damage we have to worry about is Wolves from Mordor, so whether he's at, 1 HP or 2, it doesn't matter at all. I think that's safe. I need Imrahil and Aragorn to be able to tank as big of hits as possible. Second Snaga Scout, also undefended. Wow, that's all these... well, maybe there's one other one, but same thing. It is considered undefended. Do I want to take a point of threat or not? I don't think I do. I believe I want Imrahil to take that damage.
Okay.
Maybe I should just gain the threat. I think I'm going to assign it to Frodo and gain the threat instead, come to think of it. Okay. So, 1 threat thanks to Frodo's ability. Last, Snaga Scout. It's kind of a bummer that this is a shadow card, but this is going to be 1 point of damage. This time, I guess I will give it to Imrahil so that in a dire situation, Aragorn can do an undefended attack from a Wolves from Mordor. But anyways, that's it for me. How about for you, Matthew?
All right, my poor little vassal. I'll take 1 for the team.
All right. I forgot for a moment what you were talking about. Oh, shit.
Yikes.
Okay, so Wolves from Mordor, 2 damage to the defending character. And because that's a shadow effect, that resolves immediately. The vassal dies, and now this attack is undefended. But that's why we included Gimli in your deck, because he can survive that hit. And now, thank goodness, Gimli is not committed to the quest.
Yeah, right. And he has enough to kill him in return.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess I've got to go first. Aragorn is going to attack a Snaga Scout for 3. which kills it, and Imrahil is going to attack a Snaga Scout for 3, which kills it, and what's up?
Gimli will smash this wolf.
Fantastic. So the wolf is destroyed. It does not enter the discard. Does not enter the encounter deck, and its shadow card is going to be discarded, and that means it also does not enter the encounter deck. So taking a glance at the encounter discard pile, we've only got 2 Wolves from Mordor left in the 28 card discard pile. So end of combat, let's discard Captured Watchtower. There's just that one Snaga Scout, and I'm feeling pretty good about our staging area. You've got Gandalf, which could even get rid of a Wayne Rider. Okay, shall we refresh?
Let's do it.
All right, Control R. I need to turn off automation. Frustrating that I didn't remember to do that. So, ready these characters. My threat goes up.
Need to go up.
I need to... How do I gain control? Oh, okay, there we go. So that's now yours. I think everything else is taken care of.
Okay.
And I guess if I need to, either of us could... Oh, you don't have stand and fight, but I could retrieve your vassal. But anyways, what are you doing, Matthew?
That's a good question. I have many options. I could play Gandalf. I don't know that that is necessary at the moment.
We're only up against the 5 threat. We're not really...
I think it's maybe just more important to get some bodies on the table.
Yeah, probably. You do have Feint, which is a fantastic luxury.
Right. I think I'll get my Veteran Axe Hand out. I'll do the...
before you play that, for Barivor, is that worth using her to
draw? I wondered, because I could try to dig for Citadel Plate.
Right. Or your Horn of Gondor.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Let's be a little risky.
Okay.
I will exhaust her to draw 2 cards for myself. And another Hasty Stroke and a Wing Guardian. Not the best. Although I will play the Wing Guardian instead of Vassal in case we need some Sentinel defense, or instead of Veteran Axe Hand.
Sure. Bit of a bummer that we don't have any treachery cancellation, but with 4 fewer scouts in the staging area, some of the treacheries that we have to deal with are a lot less dangerous. This Dark Pursuit here that raised the total threat of the staging area by 1 for each scout enemy in play, that's a hugely detrimental card on the first turn, but fortunately we're not going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then Rittermark's Finest.
Yep, in case we get that location.
Right.
And,
so there's a different version of Captured Watchtower for if you have not crossed the Anduin, and 4 threat sucks.
All right.
Okay,
that's it.
So that is it for you. I've still got this one enemy engaged with me. I could send Aragorn to the quest. Okay, so I've basically got 1 leadership resource that I don't absolutely need to use. I do have Ancient Matham, but it's not worth setting a Matham up to be cleared by Rittermarks. So the threshold for killing pretty much any enemy, with the exception... Basically, the threshold for killing the Wolves from Mordor is 4. If I could put that on Imrahil or something, maybe I should just hang on to my Dunedain Mark. Gimli is probably going to be our best bet for killing the Witch King, so...
I mean, you can always play it now and pay to move it later.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe that's unnecessary. I probably want to hold on to my spirit resources to save up, just in case, so I'm not going to stand and fight for an ally. I guess I'm fine not playing anything.
Okay.
For this Snaga Scouts, let's think. For committing characters to the quest, I'll do this undefended again. And I could probably have Imrahil take that damage. So I wonder who I want to commit to the quest. Eowyn by herself is pretty much going to be able to handle what's currently in the staging area. But you've got Barivor exhausted. Why don't I send Aragorn and Imrahil? And yeah, I think I'll maybe send all of my characters to the quest.
Okay.
and we'll just see what happens. So you're sending Eowyn, and I will send all of mine, and I'll spend a resource to ready Aragorn, because I don't think that an ally is going to be leaving play for Imrahil, and I want to get rid of this scout. Okay, so I've sent 6, you've sent 4. Let's see what comes off the top of the encounter deck. Encounter card number 1 is going to be Cut Off, and this is a shame that we've not used that Gandalf of yours. So Doomed 1, everybody boosts their threat, and then we have to discard all allies. So I'm going to lose Rittermark's Finest.
Yeah, Gandalf and Veteran Axion, that does suck.
Right, and he's nice for, of course, these Wayne Riders, or just for reducing threat, because we're both at 33. Although, let's see,
You should be 1 higher than me.
Yes, so there's been 1 refresh, 1 doomed, and then the other thing. So are you sure that you should be at 30?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
Or maybe I accidentally increased your threat. Whenever I click on Matthew's tab, and I can modify his numbers, which is a pain. But anyway, Cutoff is now gone. And again, just following the tradition of this quest, it's the worst it's ever going to be early on. Now that we've discarded allies, subsequent copies of this card don't really matter. But anyway, encounter card number 2 is going to be Wayne Rider Captains. This is engagement cost 40. Move the top scout enemy from the encounter discard pile to the staging area. Oh no. That is probably going to be a Wolves from Mordor.
Probably
so it's going to be move the top scout enemy from the discard pile to the staging area. 2 scout enemies if the players have crossed the Anduin. This is also kind of the first scenario that scales in difficulty because it gets worse once you cross, like this captured watchtower and the captain here. So we're up against 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threat. We've sent a total of 10 to the quest. Again, I'm okay with just making 1 quest point if you are.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 quest point. The Wayne Rider Captain and the Wayne Riders aren't going to fight us quite yet, but we might want to clear those out. I guess your Winged Guardian might be a great opportunity to deal with some of those.
Okay.
Although there's that stupid wolf from Mordor too.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, we cannot travel. For engagement, there are no Snaga scouts. You could optionally engage a Wayne Rider, and then the wolves from Mordor will engage with you, and you could defend with Rittermark's Finest is an option. And then the wolves would take themselves out, and Gimli could kill a copy of Wayne Riders is an option. I don't have any cancellation left, but there's only 1... No, there are 2 more copies of the Wolves from Mordor in the encounter deck. But you also have a feint.
Yeah.
So, what do you think we should do?
I don't know. It's tough because I cannot deal with any of these attacks undefended.
Right.
If we got that shadow.
Right.
I don't have a resource open for Hasty.
Although I guess you do have 2 of them. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I just... maybe we should play it a bit safe and just take down the wolves and deal with these dudes next turn.
Possibly. I'm just concerned that I'm at... Like, next turn, if we get another doomed 1, I'll be at 35 threat.
Yeah, but I'll be in a better position... Well, I mean, I'll have spirit resources for Hasty Stroke. I mean, who knows what... I don't know. This is a crappy one.
Yeah, it's not great.
I hate to waste my feint on it.
Well, I guess worst case scenario is a Wayne Rider. Okay, so like let's say you take the Wolves from Mordor and the Wayne Rider. Okay, so the Wolves from Mordor attack you, and then yeah, you'd have to take like an undefended thing, and one of your heroes would die.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world. 26 cards left, and there are only 2 wolves in there, unless I miscalculated. Let me check again. Yeah, there are 2 wolves. I I would I would just be risky. I think
You're often risky with my heroes, you
that is
know.
true. That is true.
Last time we did this in Passage Through Mirkwood, a poor hero died.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not too worried about next round. Of course, I don't know what I'm going to draw, but I don't know. We can. I don't know. We can be risky
Well,
if you want.
let's see. So we have to deal with the wolves from Mordor.
Right.
And then I guess all the other crap we could just leave in the staging area. The Wainwriter captain would be nice to get rid of. Your Rittermark's Finest plus Gimli could deal with that. But then you'd lose your Winged Guardian or something. Yeah. I don't know. What do you want to do, Matthew? Do you want to kill a Wainwriter or no? Totally up to you.
Let's play it safe. I'll take the wolves from Mordor, deal with that.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
All right. I'm not in support of your decision, but that's fine. Okay, so combat, your first player, so Shadow Card and Shadow Card. How do you want to handle your wolves?
I will do Wing Guardian.
Okay. So let's see. Shadow Card.
Hey.
Okay, so deal 2 damage to attacking enemy. Another really cool thing about this. The defending player may exhaust a character.
Okay, I'll exhaust Rittermark's Finest.
All right, and then you take control of Ranger of Ithilien. Note that it does not say that it joins your team exhausted. It's just Octagon deals the shadow cards, I don't know, hamburger style. What's the word? Horizontally. So that's under your control if you want to snag it.
Yep, I'm going to pay the 1 resource to keep the Wing Guardian around.
I want to say that's a first for our series here. Yeah. What's cool about these Rangers is Quest Phase 3 requires that you discard a Ranger or a hero in order to send characters to the quest. Matthew's got Eowyn, so it's fantastic that he's got a Ranger. But anyway, that is your attack. For me, Snogascout, I will do Undefended. Here's this nasty little treachery, Dark Pursuit. I'm going to toss that 1 point of damage onto Prince Imrahil. And now it's back to you, my friend.
All right, I will smash the wolf.
All right, so you take a swing. Wolves from Mordor is destroyed, not shuffled into the encounter deck. For me, I will go ahead and swing with Aragorn. My Snogascout is destroyed, not shuffled into the encounter deck. We are sitting with 8 threat in the staging area, but slowly but surely we're kind of wresting control of our scenario this morning. Yeah. So, why don't we go ahead and refresh? Automation is now successfully gone, which I enjoy. Let's see, pass control. Okay, there, I can take control of that token. We'll do our resource phase and draw 1 card. I got a copy of Campfire Tales.
Yeah. I'm going to draw 2 cards again.
Okay.
I got something.
Well, I could certainly benefit from the horn, or you could.
No, I'll throw it on your side.
Taking a moment to check. Let's see here. Horn of Gondor and Calabrian Stone. At one point, I seemed they would be best on Aragorn. So let's see. Navigating back to our board. Okay, so I am first player. What are my options? I could do Campfire Tales. You have got a cancel when revealed, which is nice. I've got 5 resources, which would be enough for Gandalf if I draw him. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury now.
Right.
I could do... I could either get... No, Okay, I don't think there's any benefit to me using Stand and Fight to get your Vassal of the Windlord. I should probably just hang on to resources to lower my threat.
Okay.
And I guess we'll just have to hope for no doomed during staging.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not going to play anything again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll hold off.
Right. I will put Horn on your side.
Okay.
I'll put a Vassal out on my side. And that's all that I'm going to do.
I wonder if I should put the Horn on... Maybe I should put that on Frodo. It seems like spirit resources are kind of a big deal. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, and you put out another vassal. Great, lots of damage for when hopefully we get to the Witch King. And let's see, I guess, shall we go ahead and talk about questing?
Sure.
All right. So, in regard to what characters I'm going to be committing to the quest, Imrahil and Aragorn combined could kill a Wainwriter, and you could feint one on my side so that we could, so that I wouldn't have to take any threat because of their ability there. You could maybe take the Wainwriter captain and deal with that. I think pretty handily. Because you've certainly got a lot of allies. Worst case scenario is if you lose something, I gain a resource. I guess technically Imrahil would ready contingent upon your losing an ally, which could be the Rittermark's finest. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 threat. I've certainly got cards to throw to Éowyn. So I suppose this could change depending on what we draw, but let's consider maybe doing that feint trick to clear out these Wainwriters or Wainwriter captain or something. Yeah, okay. So I think I want to send my full... Maybe I don't need to send Aragorn. So I'll do 4, and you've got to cancel when revealed in case we get that Dark Pursuit. What do you want to send?
I'll send Éowyn.
Okay. So that is going to be a base of 8 that we can adjust up.
I mean, I could send the Rittermark's finest for another 1, but we might get that location.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think there are 3 or 4 left in the encounter deck. Taking a moment to check, it looks like there are 3 copies of Ruins of Osgiliath, and I don't think we've seen any of them yet.
Yeah. I mean, if you aren't in desperate need of that leadership resource, there might not be any reason to not send Aragorn.
Okay.
And ready him.
So I'll send him. I've got a 6 sent to the quest.
Okay.
You've got your 4. Let's see what we're up against. Hopefully not Wainwriter captains. Hopefully Uruk Vanguard or something stupid. Encounter card number 1 is going to be a Wolves from Mordor. That recycling is frustrating. Encounter card number 2 is going to be another copy of Cut Off. And this is now problematic because Doomed 1 means I hit 35 threat. We also have to discard all allies, but neither of us have any allies.
Nope.
So that is going to resolve. We're up against 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threat. We're going to make 1 progress unless we choose to hurry things along, which I don't think is necessary.
Okay.
I could do stand and fight to pull, let's see, I think you've got a vassal. Yeah, you've got a vassal, and you've got Gondorian Spearmen, so I could do that to get an extra defender if need be.
Yeah.
So let's see. There's no travel to be done, so let's just say engagement phase, encounter phase here. Wainwriters... Okay, so if you... Alright. Wainwriter will necessarily come to me, so I'm just going to move these theoretically. So let's say Wainwriter has to engage with me, and if you want...
Yeah, I'll take the next one.
Okay, so let's say you optionally engage a Wainwriter. 1 engages with me.
And then the wolves.
And then the wolves will
come to me.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. So we start with you optionally engage. I mandatory engage. You mandatory engage.
Mandatory. Yep.
Great. Okay. So let's go ahead and do shadow cards. First player, second player, and then working down from engagement cost. All right. So I've got Aragorn and. For the Wainwriters, if you feint them for me, I won't have to deal with that threat.
Okay, all right.
So thank you for the effect there. And on your side, if you block them with Winged Guardian, you won't take any threat either.
Of course, I don't have a resource, so it's going to go away.
Right.
But
that readies Imrahil, and then I can kill my copy.
yeah, that's true. In fact, sadly, it won't be destroyed, but let's do that.
Let's see here. So I'm sorry, you're defending the Wainwriter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Shadow card is another copy of Wainwriter. Okay. So no damage dealt to Winged Guardian means no threat gain for you. Winged Guardian
does go away.
is going to leave play, but Imrahil readies. I guess Horn of Gondor, I forgot, it's after a character is destroyed, which I think you pointed out, and I'm sure I misspoke earlier in the video. But that's kind of the problem with errata, is playing with actual cards, we don't have this staring us in the face. Okay, so anyway, that's that, and your next attack is Wolves.
I'll do Winged Guardian for that one.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, yes. This is a 1-copy card, and it is horrific. The first scout enemy gains Surge and Doomed 2. Horrible, and because it's East Bank, once you get to the lattermost quest phase, you can no longer travel there. So, Wolves from Mordor kills your vassal. I do gain 1 resource from Frodo, from the Horn of Gondor for once. Feels like I never say that anymore. And the wolves are going to be shuffled back into the encounter deck once again. So it's now 20 cards in there, and I believe there's still 2 wolves. For me, Aragorn and Imrahil let their powers combine. They're going to kill my copy of Wainwriters, and discarded is this Wainwriter captain that would have given it +2 attack if an undefended scout attack. But that is gone. Now, to you.
And Gimli is enough.
Somehow I figured that was going to happen, so your enemies are gone. This staging area here is looking pretty bare, and I like those odds.
See, it worked out okay.
You know, I was thinking you'd maybe say something, but we'll never know. I've been listening to a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson lately, so maybe we'll have to explore an alternate universe someday. Anyways, let's go ahead and control R2 ready. First player token goes to you. Draw 1 card as we move into the resource phase. Do 1 resource. I've got a crappy ally that I could sacrifice to do rear guard when the time calls for it.
I'm going to Bearvor again for some decent things, and I got crap.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you said decent things, Matthew.
I know. So I'm going to, well, she's got a crap ton of resources, so I'll put out Hinnemarth.
Okay.
I will put out another copy of Winged Guardian.
Sure.
And then I've got a horn I can pitch to Eowyn.
Okay. I think I want to do, before you stop, I guess you've already started playing stuff. But anyway, let's say before you start playing stuff.
It was another test of it, so didn't change anything anyway, but a good draw.
And I did draw Gandalf. So that's going to be really useful threat reduction there. We're running out of cut-offs in the encounter deck, and I'm kind of conflicted between I would love to get sneak attacks to like cheat Gandalf multiple times, but that threat reduction is really alluring.
I sort of wonder if it would be fun to use Hinnemarth to peek at the top card. He's kind of worthless. I mean, 1 willpower, I don't know if we necessarily need it.
I suppose it doesn't really matter one way or the other.
Let's peek. It's fun. I enjoyed us doing it the last game.
Well, I guess, I mean, it's, I don't know if it's really going to change anything.
Probably not, but it's fun to know.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's do it.
Well,
it's my character.
All right. Let's go ahead and
I won't do it every turn, but we'll do it this one. I don't think I've ever actually done it.
Card of the encounter deck is going to be this. Which,
yikes.
It's going to be
good thing we've got Rittermarks.
Rittermarks.
It would have helped if we didn't have Rittermarks out. We would have known, we need to play one.
Yeah, if we had a really crappy board state. Well, enjoy your 1 less willpower, Matthew. I'm so glad that we learned what that card was.
Me too.
Okay, so anyway, that is done. I'm asking myself, do I want to play Gandalf now? Seems like it would be kind of a waste. So I guess I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Maybe next turn you can use Bearvor to help me with sneak attacks or something.
Yeah, I really wish I had Citadel played. I'd feel a little safer, but yeah.
All right. And yeah, that's a good point too. I guess even though our threat is getting higher, it's not as if we're like close to.
Right.
Anyway, enough chatter. For committing characters to the quest, we're up against 4. Willpower, what are you going to send?
I'm just going to send Eowyn.
Okay, I will just send Imrahil, and I guess I'll also just send Frodo. You've got another Winged Guardian. Okay, let's say I've got 4 sent. Encounter card number 1. Hey, wouldn't you know it? Ruins of Osgiliath.
Look at there.
Encounter card number 2 is Wolves from
Jeez
Mordor.
Louise.
But at least you've got your, well, you do have resources to cancel shadow effects, so your Winged Guardian is going to be handy for that.
Correct, yes. All right, so I will go ahead and pop my...
if only you had
Riddermark's
Hinemarth
Finest.
available as a defender, you could have killed the Wainwriter captain.
Well, too bad. Riddermark's Finest is going to pop the location.
Okay, so location gone. It leaves play. Imrahil readies. I can only deal 6 damage to the Wainwriter captain unless I do stand and fight to retrieve a Vassal of the Windlord, but that might be better spent to kill the Witch King. So I'll hold off on that. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could pull back the Gondorian Spearman too, which would put a damage on him.
That's also true. I do have 2 copies of stand and fight. That's not the worst idea.
But we're getting a smidge ahead of ourselves. How much progress do we make?
Yeah, so 4, 5. I sent 4, you've sent 4.
4?
So 1, 2, 3.
I could pitch this unnecessary copy of Horn of Gondor, or do you think I should save it for a later phase?
I think we should maybe just save it. Give us...
For the one where only one person can go?
If we wanted to, we could pass to Quest Phase 2 right now, but I still feel like I have a lot of stuff that I'd like to play.
Okay, sure. We can hold on. It's probably better in case your side doesn't get a ranger that I might have stuff to boost Eowyn.
Right. And speaking of rangers, it's 1 out of the remaining 18 cards. Although the probability of wolves is getting greater.
Yeah.
Okie doke. So let's see. If I was really bold, I could have Aragorn defend against... well, actually, why don't we probably just do your Gondorian Spearman suggestion? So anyways, travel phase, let's skip it. In counter phase, do you want the wolves and I'll take the captain?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so optional engagements there. Shadow cards are as follows. Prior to resolving enemy attacks, I'm going to go ahead and strip 2 resources off of Frodo, stand and fight. I'm going to, take control of that. Thank you.
Yep.
Maybe the first time in our series that I've actually played this card.
Yeah, kind of neat.
But anyway, it's going to be your defending first.
Okay, I'm going to do Wing Guardian.
Okay, so swings for 4. Shadow card is going to be, if this attack is undefended, it's not undefended.
It's not, and he survives, and I will pay the 1 to keep him around.
Fantastic. On my side of the table, I'll go ahead and defend with Gondorian Spearman, which deals a point of damage.
Nice.
This is going to be attacking enemy gets +1 attack. This is kind of the wimpiest enemy in the encounter deck, despite the large HP. It swings for 4. Gondorian Spearman is killed. Frodo's... Whoops, I didn't mean to deal him a point of damage. Frodo gains a resource, thanks to the horn.
Yeah.
Imrahil is already ready.
Yeah.
Was he? What readied
Imrahil?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point
I
is,
don't recall. Something
he's
did.
ready. Yeah, so if that was a mistake, who cares? Okay.
Oh, when I popped the Riddermark's Finest.
Right. Yes. Okay, so there's that, and back to you.
All right, Gimli Smash.
All right, Gimli swings. Wolves from Mordor is killed, not recirculated into the encounter deck. 16 cards remain in the encounter deck. There are currently 3 copies of wolves. So there's 1 copy of wolves, 1 copy of Ranger of Ithilien left in these 16 cards, but there are plenty of copies of cut off. The Wainwriter captain has had its attack dealt with. Aragorn and Imrahil together, 2 champions of leadership, are going to successfully deal 6 points of damage. Wainwriter captain is destroyed. Shadow card is discarded.
That was a fun little play.
Yeah, things are looking pretty safe here. So, refresh.
Knock on wood. Yes.
All right, so refresh. First player is now me. Let's go ahead and do resources. Draw a card. I got additional willpower for us to burst through the last quest phase. Calabrian Stone, I'm probably going to throw to you because you're going to be our Quest 3 guy.
Okay.
Do I want to do Gandalf now or not?
Well, do we want me to draw cards, again hoping for Citadel, or is it maybe more important to get you some better options?
Let me see. How many copies of Citadel Plate are in your deck?
I believe
You've
there
got
are two.
Three copies.
Yeah. Okay, and I only have 32 cards left.
Okay. I think maybe being able to kill the Witch King isn't as big of a deal. Like right now, we can do like 6 and 9 because of the vassal. I mean, if I retrieve a vassal. Yeah, I'm not... I think threat is going to be the only thing that could kill us here.
Yeah, and I've got nothing to reduce mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in your deck, you've got plenty of crap.
Right, just not in my hand, I mean.
Why don't you have me... Well...
You have 1 copy of Galadrim's in your deck.
Let's see.
That's it.
So, yeah.
And I only have the Gandalfs.
And you've got... No, you've got 2 Galadrims as well.
Oh, do I? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yep. How nice that we can just refer back to that Rings DB thing.
I know, isn't it nice?
Okay, so it doesn't really matter too much. Who do you want to do it?
I'll do it. Because I've thinned my deck more.
Sure.
My chances are... God, well, I've got all 3 hasty strokes.
Okay.
So.
Well, at least you can... Yeah, that's pretty handy. And you do have Song of Travel, which you could drop on
exactly.
Gimli as well.
Yeah.
But that's probably not necessary quite yet. Okay, so I could toss out a leadership ally, which I should probably do, just to make sure that it doesn't get discarded at a later date. I guess there's no like urgent need to play Calabrian Stone, so I will hold off on that.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and play Song of Travel just because Bearvor's got a ton of resources that she's not really using.
Sure. And just to kind of vocalize some thoughts I'm having here, generally when I'm playing viewers, I try to, like, the reason I played this ally is because I know it's not safe in my hand. The reason I'm not investing resources into Calabrian Stone, even though I could, is because I don't really know if I'm going to have to save a ton for, like, a bunch of Gandalfs or something. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, so I'm debating whether I should play my other copy of Rittermark's Finest or save it for Hasty Strokes or Test of Wills or whatever. I mean, even if we got the location, we're doing fairly well.
Yeah,
so I'm going to hold off, I think.
Sure.
And that's it for me.
Okay, so for me...
Although, Gimli is Spirit now, so I'm flush with Spirit resources.
Right.
No reason not to do it in case we get that treachery.
Yeah.
So I take that back.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and play him.
Right.
Cool.
And for whatever reason, I forgot about Cut Off myself for half a moment. Although I guess now you've also got a cancel, which we could cancel
That's
Cut
true.
Off. And I didn't realize that, and that makes me feel much better about my precious Gandalf here.
Cool.
Great. Okay, so there's that. Why don't we go ahead and push through? I'm going to do Frodo and Imrahil.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to do Aragorn. This should be pretty easy for us.
Yeah, and I will do 4.
Okay. Do you want to send, like, Hinamarth, or...
I could. I mean, we only need to make 2 progress. But,
yeah, that's true.
And I could always pitch a horn if necessary.
I'm sure we don't need him. We're probably good.
Yeah.
Okay, so encounter card number 1 is going to be a copy of Until the End of the Phase. Each card revealed by the encounter deck gains doomed 1.
Is that worth canceling?
Probably not.
Okay.
Although, let me think,
we're going to go up by 2
else
no matter
is there
what.
to cancel? There's not really anything else worth canceling. So, I guess, should we maybe cancel it? Again,
I mean, I've got 2 in my hand.
I've got 3 Test of Will in my deck. You've got 3 in yours. Why don't... Yeah, we should probably cancel it.
Cool. Go ahead and do that.
Okay, so cancel it, but it does surge. That is not canceled. Encounter card number 1, I wouldn't be surprised if it's another copy. It is actually going to be another copy. So
all right.
Do we want to cancel that one?
I mean, it's my last Test of Will, so...
Each card gains doomed 1, so it's not just enemies.
No, so we're going to get... our threat's going to go up by 2.
I would say...
Cancel it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do it.
So
Jeez, that
I want to
sucked.
just make sure that that I didn't like screw up. Okay, yeah, 2 of those in a row. I think there's just one more. And counter card number 1 is going to be Uruk Vanguard. Who cares?
Okay.
Counter
Yep.
card 2, Cut Off.
Oh, jeez. All right.
So that's going to be my copy of Gandalf gone.
Ooh,
And
that sucks.
anything? No, nothing for you.
No, and
Cut
doomed
Off
one.
is gone, and yeah, Doomed 1, I'm at 38. So we're currently up against 3 threat. We've sent 8. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here's how this works. We're going to progress to Quest Phase 2A. The Outriders and Scouts of the army have cut you off at the bridge. You desperately seek the likeliest place to cross the Anduin. Players cannot travel to West Bank locations still. It just takes 5 quest points. Each player cannot play or put into play more than 1 card from his hand each round. I contacted the dev team about this, and they made it sound like Sneak Attack. You could play Sneak Attack, but you couldn't use it to put something into play because you've already hit that 1 card limit. So I wouldn't mind progressing past this as quickly as possible. And now you and I are definitely going to be needing our threat reduction as quickly as we can manage it. It might start to be worth doing those ancient mathams or something to get rid of this watchtower. Because it's going to get strong come Quest Phase 4, and, 6 cards is a lot of possible threat reduction.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's that. For combat, do you want this Uruk Vanguard?
Sure.
Okay, so it's going to go to you. There's a shadow card for it. You're going to have to be able to conjure up 9 attack to deal with it, but you can fortunately deal with that. How do you want to defend?
I'll defend with Wing Guardian.
Whoops. Okay, Winged Guardian. Shadow card is nothing. It's another
I
one
really
of
wish
these
it was a
ones.
ranger, but okay. And then I will pay the 1 to keep him around.
Sure. And I guess
Then
what
I will,
else?
Gimli is 6. Ranger makes it 7. Hindemarth makes it 8.
Ranger makes it 8. Hindemarth makes it 9.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Sorry.
But anyways, it's all good. It's
He's
killed. It's gone. Okay, refresh.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, I'm at 39. First player token goes to you.
Hey, well, I got unexpected. That's
Doing
nice.
resources, I've now drawn another Dunedain Mark, which is going to help probably Gimli, I guess, splatter the Witch King.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna draw cards again. Ugh, come on, threat or Gandalf.
yeah.
Although faint is decent.
Okay, anything else for you?
So I got a copy of Unexpected Courage. Who would that be best on?
That's actually a pretty good question. Probably Gimli.
Yeah. I mean, Aragorn is a decent candidate, although so is Barivor.
I would just say Gimli because as soon as he gets plates, as soon as he gets
Yeah.
Dunedain Mark, he could easily handle multiple enemies or quest.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're definitely going to need that for Quest Phase 3, just so
Yeah,
we can make sure
that's
we
true.
don't screw that one up.
Yeah. All right. So Unexpected and Vassal is it for me?
Right, so Vassal is safely in play, not in your hand. For me, I think I need to do Ancient Matham on Captured Watchtower. Actually, before you pass, do you want to do the same thing so that you can draw
sure.
6 cards?
Sure. I forgot we had just
Yeah.
talked about that.
Sure. So there you go. Stripped a point off of Gimli. And that'll be 6 cards or so for you. I think I will do 2 resources off of Imrahil to put Calabrian Stone on Eowyn there. Even though Aragorn would gain that spirit resource, my concern is that Quest Phase 3, although
Yeah.
it's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's it for me. Nothing else is
Okay.
imperative.
Okay.
Okay, so questing. Ideally, we'll be able to pass through this quest phase here. So we're up against 1. I think I maybe want to send everyone. And you're the first player, so you could take 2 enemies. So I don't think I want to spend Aragorn's resource.
Okay. I'll just send Eowyn for 6.
Let's see. Do you want to send anybody else? Gimli's got
Well, I thought about-
Unexpected Courage.
Yeah, I guess if there's multiple things.
And you've got Hinamarth.
Yeah, I thought about Hinamarth. I feel like you're sending 6, and we're sending 12 against 1. Yeah, I'll do Hinamarth, fine. No big deal. There's 7.
Okay. All right. So let's see what we pull. 11 cards left. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Ranger. Anyway, encounter card number 1 is going to be a copy of More Goldwyn. This is an East Bank location, so if we want, we could travel there.
Yeah, threat's pretty low.
But it's only 1 threat, so we're going to leave it in the staging area. Encounter card number 2 is going to be another one of these. So it will surge, but better that it's the second card than the first.
Right, exactly.
Nothing that we can do about it, so last encounter card, Doomed 1. Be sure to increase your threat. And it's another one of these.
I'm almost glad that it wasn't a Ranger, because that would have surged too.
Yeah. So we're up against 4 threat. Do you want to do your Rittermark's Finest thing?
On
Captured Watchtower.
The Captured Watchtower?
The 6 cards for you.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Emery Hill readies for whatever that's worth.
Captured Watchtower gone. I get rid of one of my Ancient Mathams.
And I get to draw 6.
And we're going to be up against...
Hey, finally getting my stuff.
3 threat. Cool, that's a lot of nice stuff there. So you've got a Gandalf to decrease your threat. That's great. Okay, so you sent 7. I made it 13. 13 minus 3 is going to be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so total of 10. Thank goodness you sent Hinamarth. Glad I won the argument there.
I know.
Okay, travel. I do not want to go to More Goldwyn, even though we
no.
could. Uruk Vanguard, do you want to take it like last time?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Shadow card. Winged Guardian, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. So, whoops. Deal 2 damage to the defending character.
You know, I could cancel that if I want to keep the dude around.
It'll be
then
2 undefended damage, which you could...
I guess that could go on Barivor.
Yeah, well, I would suggest Eowyn. Just to make the, but it's totally up to you. You've got 3 hasty strokes. I would just cancel it and keep your critter.
Well, I've got a lot of big things I want to pay for next time too.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
I wonder if I'm going to need him later though as a defender. I don't really have another great.
You've got
defender.
Stand and Fight though in your hand.
Yeah, that's true. He's just going to eat it.
Okay, so...
Well, yeah, he's going to eat it.
Okay.
Which gives you a resource and readies what's his bucket.
Right, so +1 resource for Frodo. Imrahil is readied. And the undefended attack of 2... The only reason I suggest Eowyn is because Barivor could do an undefended attack. Like, take an undefended attack of 3. There's no, Necromancer's Reach in this deck or anything.
All right, Eowyn.
Okay, and then I don't have any combat. Uruk Vanguard. Yeah...
Gimli and the Ranger.
Well, actually, let's see. Gimli, that's only 8.
Yeah, I could do the Vassal, but...
I would, I guess, save it. And let's just keep the Vanguard alive, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I could even stand and fight my Gondorian Spearman again, too.
Yeah. Doesn't matter too much.
Nah, but it would kill him.
What do you want to do? I suppose you could...
Oh, I don't mean right this second.
Oh,
Sorry.
I see.
I meant just next turn.
Sure.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, next turn. Yeah, just do that next turn. That's a great idea.
Cool.
Great. Get us ready for Khazad-dûm with the Gondorian Spearmen just killing everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, so end of combat. Wolves from Mordor is going to be discarded. There are now 7 cards left in the encounter deck, one of which is going to be whatever. Oh, we did not mention...
Oh, we can't put into play more than 1 card.
Yeah, I just remembered that. I don't...
You did Celebrian Stone, and I think that was it?
Or
did you do the Guard of the Citadel, too?
No, Guard of the Citadel was from last turn. Did we do the Ancient Mathams in addition?
Yes, we sure did. So why don't you just take back Celebrian Stone and take off 2 progress?
Right. So, sincerest apologies, dear viewers, but, these things happen. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of. Yeah. And I was going to say we forgot to progress our quest phase. So again, sincerest apologies about that. Calabrian Stone, I do
I don't
believe that
remember
I
if I
played
did
this
more.
turn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. I don't think that I did more.
I know that we talked about a lot.
Did I do Unexpected Courage this turn?
I think that was last turn.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So
it didn't get used, so at the end of the day, it didn't change a ton, and we're moving on. So, I think the safest thing is, I think we're fine.
yeah. So, okay, so we've each done our Ancient Matham. I didn't do anything else save the Calabrian Stone. And then you, I don't think you did any allies. You were just kind of saving up resources, right? Did you cancel? You didn't cancel a treachery.
No, because I have one Test of Will left, and it's still in my hand.
The only other card effects you used were Rittermark's Finest and Winged Guardian. So I think that we've caught everything. Again, viewers, our sincerest apologies. It should be quite clear that Matthew and I are kind of in charge of the board at the moment. We did overlook that little effect, but at least it wasn't like our first video where we accidentally traveled to a West Bank location. Anyway, so I forgot to progress us to Quest Phase 3A. This is Anduin Crossing, and the reason I didn't mention it is because it's not relevant yet. The cold waters of the Anduin River rush before you, but the current is weaker here, and you have to cross. The outriders and van of the Dark Lord's army are closing fast behind, and their archers will make the attempted crossing even more dangerous. The bravest members of your band turn back to distract the oncoming hordes so that the rest of you might escape. Quest Phase 3B, 1 quest point. Progress tokens from card effects, like Legolas, cannot be placed on this quest card or the active location. Players cannot travel to East or West Bank locations, which I guess would have prevented us from traveling to the horrible Mor Goldwyn. So I misspoke earlier. In order to commit characters to the quest, a player must first choose a hero or one ranger of a Thilian card he controls and discard it from play. I've not been able to retrieve Faramir from my deck, but that's kind of the reason for including him, beyond him being great. And that's pretty much it. So next turn we have to make sure to succeed. And we've got to make sure to get our threat down because the Witch King is nigh. Yeah. Okay, so refresh.
Yep.
Okay, so glad that we corrected that error without too much issue. I got kind of a waste of a card. Okay. I really, really need a stupid wizard at some point.
Here, I'll Barivore you.
All right, well, thank you very much. I got Galadrim's Greeting, which is fantastic. Okay. Cool. And I also got 4 Gondor for your ability to destroy the Witch King. And I've also got Stand and Fight to get Vassal of the Windlord, so it looks like hopefully we'll be able to butcher him without too much trouble. I think I want to go ahead and do the Galadrim's Greeting. I suppose I may as well do it now. I mean, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. So I will play that. I'm going to go ahead and target me since you've got your own way of dropping threat. I will do, let's see, 1, 2 to do Calabrians on Éowyn. So again, apologies viewers for that little misstep there. And I guess I'll do a pair of Dunedain Mark on your homeboy Gimli there. Okay. So hopefully we'll be able to kill the Witch King pretty much as soon as he shows up. Which will be rad. I do have enough resources for 4 Gondor and Stand and Fight both. So time to just crush him. Okay.
I am going to do 4 for Citadel Plate on Gimli.
Great.
And then I'm going to do 2. Well, I wonder if I should save Hasty Strokes or Treacheries. Is the Citadel Plate even necessary? I could just jump.
Yeah, I don't think it's strictly necessary.
I'm going to take that back and put the resources back.
It's probably better to do Gandalf and quest with him.
Well, yeah, Gandalf can be paid for by Barivore.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So let's do a stand and fight to pull back the Gondorian Spearman to take care of What's His Bucket.
Okay.
So that's taken care of.
Sure.
So I don't have to worry about that one.
Sure. Oh, and
And
you
then,
do have a feint, and the Witch King is not immune to it.
yes.
Oh, and that
so,
nullifies his forced effect.
So,
Wow.
Gandalf for 5.
What a wussy enemy.
Enough! I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me!
Okay.
And then I'll lower my threat by 5.
Very wise. I don't know. I guess... Man, the Witch King is just neutered by feint. How did I not put 2 and 2 together before?
Yeah.
What a joke.
Yeah. And then I could, just for fun, play... 2 would leave me with 2.
Look, man,
that's all I'm going to... I don't think I need anything else.
This game is not about having fun.
Nah, no, I'm good. I thought about playing Veteran Accent for just more attack power, but I really don't think it's necessary.
And
so I'm good.
Thankfully, there's no number of plays restriction for this round.
Right.
Oh, man. It seems, viewers, there's always going to be at least one mistake per video, so...
Well, you know what? I'm going to do it. Why not?
Great.
I'll change my mind. Because I'm losing the Ranger, because I got to ditch him and, whatever else. So.
Sure. Okay.
There he is. I'm done.
So let's say this turn, let's butcher the Witch King. Next turn, let's race to Minas Tirith in one fell swoop. So, Matthew, committing characters to the quest. I think I...
Well, you cannot do so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for catching that.
So, I have to discard, and I'll pass control back to you, but you need to discard the Ranger for me.
Sure. Or, worst case scenario, we could have gotten rid of Baravor. I could have gotten rid of Imrahil.
Well, if you want a quest, you really could. But so I'll send 6 from Aowen, 7 from Hintermarth.
And we've each got cards to ditch to Aowen.
Yeah. Should I send Gandalf?
So,
or Gimli?
Here's the thing. Gimli himself swings for 6, 7, 8. My vassal can make it 11.
Mine makes it...
Worst case scenario, I could do stand and fight on Rittermark's Finest and then sacrifice it to kill one of those locations. So Gandalf plus my vassal is 11. Your Gandalf... let's make that 13 because I could do 4 Gondor. And then Gandalf is enough to kill Witch King.
Okay. So do you think questing for 7 is enough?
But then
we're only against 1.
Let's see. One moment. Sorry. So... Gimli swings for 8, 9 with 4 Gondor. My vassal can make that 13. Your veteran axe hand with 4 Gondor could make that 16, and that is just shy of what it would take to kill.
Okay.
Oh, but you've got a vassal of your own, so that would be enough.
I do.
You could quest with Gandalf.
I was going to say, I'll just quest with Gimli and exhaust Unexpected Courage to ready him again.
Yeah, that works.
All right, so I'll increase by 2.
Great.
And I can pitch, so it should be fine. All right, let's go.
Totally. All right, encounter card number 1 is going to be a copy of Pelennor Fields. This is kind of a pain in the ass if the players have crossed the Anduin, which is about to happen. When faced with the option to travel, the players must travel to Pelennor Fields or raise each player's threat by 3. There are 2 copies of this in the deck. I'm predicting we're about to draw a second copy, which is going to suck, but it's probably what's going to happen. And if there are 2 copies in play, we can't well travel to both of them, and that sucks. Yeah. But our threat's not bad at 35. Encounter card number 2. Hey, it's going to be Ruins of Osgiliath. If the players have not crossed the Anduin, which we have not done, let's see here. Where does it say? Whoops. Whoops. I did not mean to add that to the victory display. Let me go ahead and return that to the table. I meant to flip it. Okay, so Quest Phase 4 is players have now crossed the Anduin, so we have not crossed yet. So that's going to be a 4 threat, 5, 6 total threat. What did you send, Matthew? 6?
9.
9. Okay, that's enough. So 1, 2, 3. Ruins of Osgiliath. I guess we might as well just... Well, let's see here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So at the moment, we've made 3 progress. You sent 9. We are up against a total of 6. So we clear the quest card. Quest Phase 4. You made it across the Anduin and are leaving Osgiliath when a fell shriek splits the air. You begin the race across the Pelennor fields to the safety of Minas Tirith, but a new enemy follows behind. Flip the card. When revealed, add the Witch King to the staging area. This is 15 quest points. Players have now crossed the Anduin. Players cannot travel to East Bank locations. So this Ruins of Osgiliath is now a paltry 1 threat location. Let's see here. If the players defeat the stage, they've won the game. Witch King is in the staging area. Players cannot play attachments on him. Each character gets -1 willpower. After he attacks, he returns to the staging area unless defending player raises threat by 3. So we cannot travel to East Bank locations. For travel, do we want to go to the Pelennor Fields just to be safe? I don't think it matters at all, honestly. Because we can take the threat increase.
Okay, sure.
Let's not travel. Let's be bold. So 1, 2, 3 threat each increased.
Okay.
I don't want to go to... Yeah, we can't go to anything else.
No.
Witch King.
All right. Bring him down.
All right, Matthew, you've engaged with the nastiest enemy we've seen to date. Named after an old nickname of mine, actually. So let's see. The Witch King. Well, I guess first combat phase. Shadow card, the Vanguard gets 1 first. Note that because we've crossed the Anduin, he's now attacking for 5. Witch King is pretty.
My guess is, since
6.
I'm going to be neutering both of these, that they will have the Ranger attached. But I'm going to feint the Witch King.
Sure.
And then I'm going to Gondorian Spearman the Uruk Vanguard.
Right, so Gondorian Spearman defends the instant he's declared as a defender prior to determining combat damage. 1 point of damage to the Uruk Vanguard. Like I said, get used to this. In Khazad-dûm, the enemy is instantly killed. Wayne Riders is gone. I wonder if the Witch King will have one of those. 3 cards left in the encounter deck. So the odds are, I guess, 25%.
All right, so Gimli swings for 8. Gandalf makes it 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14 from the veteran axe hand.
Okay, so you're attacking with 3 characters. I'll go ahead and do 1, 2. I will play 4 Gondor for the first time. That boosts the attack of every character in play, and that is going to be enough. So the Witch King is going to be destroyed. Note that he is not added to the victory display, but he is simply destroyed. The shadow card was not a ranger, which is great. That might help us slightly with questing. And I can hear you verifying your math there.
Yeah, just making sure. He had what, 17?
Yes, total of 17.
Yeah, and that was exactly what we had.
And if you needed to, you had your vassal. If I needed to, I could have brought another vassal.
Yep.
So he was just annihilated.
I wish he had victory points so he would go away, but
yeah, would be a bummer to reveal him during staging, but I think we're going to make it.
End around, Gandalf goes away.
Right, so our threat is now 39 each. You are first player. I will draw 1 card. I will do my resources.
Do you want some cards? Do you think that'd be helpful?
There is like a 2 out of 33 chance that I'll draw a Gandalf or something. I don't know if it really is going to matter. We're just going to want to rush to the end.
Okay, then maybe we'll just save her willpower.
I've got a rear guard, so I may as well just we may as well send every hero to the quest and try to make 15 progress.
All right.
Yeah.
All I'm going to do is play a veteran axe hand just in case.
Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So for me, I'll do 1, 2 for Rittermark's Finest. Cool. And do we have anything with more than 1 willpower in the discard pile? No. But
Gandalf, but that's it.
Yeah, and I can't stand and fight Gandalf. I guess just for anybody that does not know, you cannot use stand and fight on Gandalf because he is a neutral character. He does not belong to any sphere. Okay, so I've got 2 little allies that I can just I'll probably hold one back, or maybe I'll hold them both back. I don't know. Let me look at the encounter discard pile to try and figure out what we're going up against. How many of these? Captured watchtowers. If we've crossed the Anduin, it gets its boost. So 1, 2, 3, and yeah, so there's no reason for me to hold back my horsies. So I'm going to go ahead and send everything to the quest here. Okay, so what are you sending to the quest?
11.
Okay, so let's see. Pretty much anything with willpower we're going to want to send. Did you send Eowyn?
I forgot to exhaust her, but she wasn't in my total.
Okay, great.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, and I will send all of my characters to the quest with the exception of Guard of the Citadel. So I'm sending 8,
Okay.
and you're sending, what, 11?
Mm-hmm.
And if I do rear guard, that'll be boosting us to 25. Then with Eowyn, 27. I don't think there's any way that we're not going to be able to win.
Well, let's see.
We're
Hopefully one of them's the dude who will add 2.
We're almost guaranteed to pull him. Okay, encounter card number 1 is going to be Ranger of the Filion, the first player, which is you.
Yeah.
So exhausted and committed to the quest. Then he gains Surge. How fun. We're going to run through every single encounter card. Actual encounter card number 1 is going to be when revealed, raise the total. Okay, here we go. Do you have any cancel when revealed?
I do.
If you cancel it, it does not gain Surge.
Right, and so we don't have to shuffle.
Oh, but I bet you the last card is going to be a copy. What do you bet?
Well, we'll see.
All right, so it's canceled. We don't shuffle. Encounter card number 2. Oh,
Hey, it's location.
Wow, and I'm glad that we pulled this now because it's 1 threat, and as soon as we have the option to travel, again, it's like we can't travel to both, so it's a minimum gain of 3 threat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and do rear guard, another first, and how fun that I get to use both of my disaster cards. Quest action, discard a leadership ally, Guard of the Citadel, to give each hero committed to the quest +1 willpower until the end of the phase. I don't honestly think this is necessary, but let Matthew and I enjoy our victory flourish.
It's fun.
I'll discard Steward of Gondor to Eowyn.
And I will pitch another Hinnemarth.
Great. Okay, so let's calculate here. I've sent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for me.
Okay. And 17 for me.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Even with
Yep.
the cards and all that? Yeah. All right. I'll take your word.
Well, I mean, I can add it, so I'll do rear guard at the end. Gimli's 2, Eowyn's 6, so that's 8.
Gimli's 3.
Well, I'm not counting
rear guard
at the
at the
moment.
end. Okay, sure.
I'll do it at the end. So he's 2, she's 6, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, counting the ranger, 14, 15, 16 with the rear guard, and 17 with pitching to Eowyn.
Oh, rear guard is 3. Or wait a sec. It's 1 for each of your characters.
Which one is it for each hero?
Sorry, it's 1 for each of your heroes.
Yeah, so that's 17's correct.
Let's see.
Because I'm 13 with just my characters.
Did you send Barovor or no?
I did.
Okay, so
I'm 13 with the characters, then I'm 16 with rear guard, and then I'm 17 pitching to Eowyn.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. You're working on a PhD, so you probably know what you're talking about. I'll just assume 4 cards in the staging area, 4 threat in the staging area. 28 minus 4 is going to be 24.
Even if my math is off a little bit,
15.
I think we're okay.
All right, so Matthew, we've attained 24 out of 15 progress. The Witch King is defeated. Note, by the way, that the encounter deck was empty during the staging area, and interestingly, it's actually self-filled itself. Once the encounter deck runs out, you immediately replenish it if it's the quest phase, and it did that by itself. Anyways, point is, 24 out of 15 progress. We've defeated the Witch King. We've defeated the stage. We have won the game. This was 6 or 7 weeks in the making, but we have defeated the Massing at Osgiliath. The progression series is thus far undefeated, not to jinx us. What are your thoughts here on the Massing at Osgiliath 6 years after it first came out?
Yeah, it's still a fun one playing with the card pool at the time. I think it's really, really good. It's really, really tense. I played it a couple years ago, I think, with a modern card pool, and it wasn't as fun. But we also, I think, got more Golduin early on, and as a shadow, so it became active, and that was pretty rough. But
Yeah.
the modern card pool can neuter pretty much any quest. But this one really is a fun one, and I like playing it sort of the core and Shadows of Mirkwood only. So it was fun. I never really felt that we were out of the driver's seat. We had a pretty good handle on things. I think Tri-Sphere decks were risky early in the Life's game, but this one worked out okay. Losing lots of Gandalfs to that one Treachery totally sucked. But the Rangers are, I just love objective allies or objective equipments or whatever that come out of the encounter deck. So they're always super fun, and we got to see one here on the last turn. So I had a blast. But what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, I do think this is a really cool quest. There's a lot going on. The crossing the Anduin, the objective allies, the Witch King changing things up, the fact that the game gets more difficult once you do cross the Anduin, although it's not as if that last quest phase lasts for too long. But it's just really cool. I think so much of it has to do with that first round. We got like a Snaga Scout and a 1-threat location, but we could have gotten Massing out Osgiliath surging into another Massing out Osgiliath. Then we pull Dark Pursuit, which would have had Doomed 1 3 times. Because we had 6 scouts in play, it would have been, like 12 threat in the staging area, plus whatever else we drew. We didn't get very lucky with those Wolves from Mordor as shadow cards. Were actually a pretty big pain in the ass. But in the end, everything turned out all right. I happened to mention in my Future of the Progression series video that Matthew and I did try and play this before. We made that one mistake in this video with the cannot player put into play more than one card from his hand each round, but I think we were able to correct for that just fine. And I would just say pay rapt attention to the trait, West Bank or East Bank, associated with each location. More Goldwyn is awful. I've not played this scenario enough times to get it as an active location, because that is just like death to Eowyn, death to any high willpower, low HP allies. You're quite right that this doesn't necessarily stand the test of time in a difficulty stance. Like once we get into some of the Hobbit saga expansions, we've got a character who can do an unlimited number of defenses. But I just think this is a great example of if you build a couple of decks custom designed to overcome some scenario, like the Prince Imrahil Aragorn clearing out the Snaga Scouts worked out great, knowing that the Wolves from Mordor were vanquishable so long as you've got allies to get rid of. And even doing that tricky thing, like you played an ally for yourself and for me, helped back up my just not having access to a card pool with enough cheap allies. So
Yeah.
even though you played a tri-sphere deck and I played a dual sphere, resource smoothing and whatnot worked out, and Horn of Gondor definitely put some work in, so I could scarcely be happier with how today's scenario went. And even though there's been a 6 or 7 week absence, it's fantastic to be back recording episodes of the Progression series, and I certainly look forward to many, many, many more videos to come.
Yeah, I can't wait to crack open Khazad Doom and see all that dwarfy goodness.
Your favorite. So, Matthew, I do hear that you're a member of a rather prolific podcast that recently celebrated their 50th episode. Why don't you plug yourself? Let's steel ourselves for Khazad Doom and the subsequent Dwarodelf cycle, and I'll look forward to editing this video.
I would be honored if you all would join my co-hosts and I, Dan, Derek, and Ian, for an in-depth look at the Lord of the Rings LCG, focusing on strategy, deck building, and the metagame. We are the Grey Company Podcast.
Well, as I always say, it certainly comes highly recommended. The more Matthew, the merrier. So give a listen to the Grey Company. Check out future installments of the Lord of the Rings, the card game progression series. If you know anyone that's interested in this game, be sure to link them to our tutorial. But like this video, subscribe to the channel, interact with me, the Hive Tyrant, on Twitter, on Facebook. If you have any interest in supporting the ongoing intermittent progression series, I'm on Patreon as well. But after far too long, thank you for watching, take care, and look forward to many more episodes to come soon.